G'day YouTube, Max right here, and I got a super fun video for you today explaining the media lies truth cycle. And it's a cycle that took place like 20 or 30 times in 2016. It's going to carry out at least another dozen or 20 times this year. Once you understand it, you're going to become immune to all the craziness on TV about, oh my God, my candidate's going to lose, or oh, woo, my candidate's going to win. You're going to know exactly how this cycle works. You're not going to sound like a fool saying something one day and having to walk it back a week later. And you're going to know the exact result of this election but right now here today once you understand this cycle. So I've got up on the screen here, this is the betting odds that speculators are doing on who's going to win the election according to the bookmakers, right? And it's a similar chart if you look at the polls. When the blue line is on top, it means that people think Biden is going to win. When the red line's on top, they think Trump is going to win. And the degree to which they are far apart, the further apart they are, the more certain people are of that outcome. So you'll see just between July and August, people were extremely certain that Biden had this in the bag. You'll see now it's kind of closing up to where it's coming very close to 50-50. And I've been waiting for this moment to happen because I wanted to see how long this cycle took. Because a couple of things have changed this year and I wanted to know how long this cycle took. So if this sounds interesting, guys, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. You're going to become a ninja in political cycles right here, right now, today. So a little bit deeper on this, this pattern here. What happens is in June here, you see the lines flip. And just before the lines flip, there's they go from pretty stable to all of a sudden violently turning against each other. What happened then was, of course, the George Floyd incident. Now here's how the media lies truth cycle works. The establishment have incredibly, they have distribution networks for information. They've got mainstream media. They have got social media channels. They have got radio. They've got newspapers. They've got all these different mechanisms to get information out quickly. And they're very good salespeople, and they even do it in a very coordinated effort. You've probably seen the videos on YouTube where, like, they did it last week, I think, on the Republican, the RNC, the committee thing, the big celebration thing they do for Republicans, and the theme that the establishment wanted to push, that was that the Republicans were having a dark-themed Republican National Convention. And so what happened was all the networks, whether you saw it on news, on radio, on newspapers, everyone was saying the word was dark. It was a dark-themed extravaganza for the Republicans. Well, they do this always. It's always very, very coordinated, and they're very good at getting a narrative out quickly. The narrative comes out, something happens, and they're first to the marketplace with a narrative, and it disseminates and it's powerful, and exactly what happened there, the graph switches. People, oh my God, Trump's evil, Biden's wonderful, and it switches, and you see this violent turn against Trump in favor of Biden or the current Democrat, whoever it is, and that is how it works. And then over time, whatever lies they said become exposed. So in this particular one, it was, oh my God, the country's burning, riots in every country. This must be Trump's fault. He's a racist. He's been sowing the seeds of racism. He's evil. Finally, good people are standing up and fighting against the racism. And people are like, oh, well, this is the only story being put forth, so I guess it's true. And so things violently go against that. As time goes on, people start to get, well, then they listen to their favorite blogger, their favorite YouTuber. They meet that really smart person at the dinner party that explains to them what's going on. And then they see, it's like, oh, all these riots are happening as a result of the policies of Democrats. They're only happening in Democrat cities. They're happening as a result of the policies of Democrats, the fact that Democrats are trying to do this. And all of a sudden, the truth comes out. Now, this was just one particular cycle about the George Floyd thing and the riots and everything else. But it's true on everything. It's a cycle that's going to take place for at least a dozen times between here and November. Something happens, like very newsworthy event. The media tell the world what to think about it. That's what the world thinks about it. Some period of time later, the truth comes out, all the lies are exposed, and then people get very angry at the fact that they were lied to and that they were made to look a fool because they ran around, saying things like, Black Lives Matter and everything else, repeating all the talking points. And then a few weeks or months later, they've got to walk everything back and make themselves sound really stupid. People get angry at the fact that the media lied to them, and more people are red-pilled. And once you get red-pilled, you never go back. So that is the cycle that is going to play out over and over and over again. Now let's talk about that cycle a little bit more, because the cycle changes over time. So if you go way back to 2016, when Trump came down the escalator about, well over a year, or maybe exactly a year before he won the election, it took about 2 months from when the lie was told, when the incident happened and the narrative is created, to where enough people understand that they were lied to and they now know the truth, that things switch back. Now this time around, you'll see it took 3 months. The event happened, just before that June mark. You got June, July, August, and then just before the September mark happens. It took 3 whole months to undo all the media lies about this narrative, to where people understand, oh, this is all the riots and everything is Democrats' fault. Why did it take longer this time? The reason it took longer this time is 2 very important things have happened different between 2016 and 2020. The Democratic leadership are very, very smart people. They understand mass psychology. They understand how to fool people. They understand what's going on. They understand how they lost control of the narrative. In 2016, they lost control of the narrative for 2 reasons. One, Trump was holding 3-4 rallies a day and explaining his side of the story, and people were getting the truth very, very quickly. You could every single thanks to Right Side Broadcasting as a YouTube channel, every single Trump rally was broadcast, and so people could just log on. Something happened, you'd log on, you'd watch YouTube, you'd hear from the horse's mouth what's his side of the story. You don't have to go out of your way to get the leftist side of the story. That's newspapers, TVs, radio. It's everywhere. You can't not get it. But you have to go out of your way and you have to find out, well, what's the alternative? What's their perspective? Then you match the 2 perspectives. You go, oh, that actually makes more sense than this. So Trump can't do rallies this time. So I knew it was going to really hurt the truth cycle. For the truth to overcome the lies was going to take a little bit longer for that reason. Second thing that's happened is they have gone on an absolute, social media has just been banning YouTube channels, Instagram channels, Twitter channels, Facebook channels. These anything pro-Trump has just been getting banned. So a lot of the people the way that truth cycle got out, the primary way was that there was 1 or 2 people who you trusted on YouTube to dig through all the nonsense, dig through all the lies, and sift out the truth and tell you. And people knew where to go, and they knew where to, oh, something's just happened. George Floyd just happened. I know where to go. My 3 favorite YouTubers or my 3 favorite Twitter accounts, they're going to tell me what to do, and I can go to them and get the answers about what really happened. All those channels, for the most part, have been cancelled. They've been suspended, cancelled, memory hold. They're gone. And so we now have these 2 massive headwinds that trying to keep the truth suppressed and keep the lying narrative alive. And I knew it was never going to win. Truth will always win out. But the question is, did it win out in time for the election? And you can see right here on this graph, we got a really clear picture that it's going to take 3 months for lies, from when the lying narrative comes out to when the truth comes out and overpowers it. But here's some good news. As did happen in 2016, as with each new lie truth cycle, that period gets shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter, because people go and find new YouTube channels. They go, oh man, this guy, I remember this guy. He told me the truth 2 months ago. I didn't believe him, but I believe him now because eventually all the evidence came out and I saw it. Now I believe him. I'm going to start trusting this guy. And so people started developing their Twitter feeds and their YouTube feeds with their subscriptions and whatever else. By the way, take this opportunity, subscribe to this channel now, so that you know when you see this playing out, you're going to go, oh, Max told me about this months ago. I've seen it play out a couple times, and you'll know that this is a channel where you can get truth. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that like button. And that is a critical part of the component. We get better, we get smarter as a community of seeing through the BS, seeing through the lies, finding people who tell the truth, and we go, something happens, we go straight to that source, find that answer, and now you're the super smart person at the dinner party educating everybody who just watched CNN and got lied to and didn't understand that they were being lied to. So that is the cycle. Because we get better at it, it gets shorter and shorter and shorter. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this cycle plays out. 2016, when Trump walked down the escalator, it was about 2 months He walked down the escalator, talked about immigration, the wall, whatever. He was the biggest racist ever on the face of the planet. They cut out half of what he said, misconstrued what he said. CNN's telling you what he was thinking while he said it. And everyone thought he was a racist. Everyone goes against him. Within 2 months, he's winning the polls. He never steps back because it took 2 months to get to the truth. By the end, but just days before the election, week before the election, that cycle went from 2 months to 2 days. 2 days where they said a lie and it hit him in the polls, it hurt him. 2 days later, it was back to normal. People were that good and efficient at bypassing the mainstream media and finding out the truth. We've got these two huge headwinds. Trump can't do rallies, and a lot of social media accounts have been banned. So you got to figure out how to get the information, because this is your duty, I see, to be that ambassador for truth. Find your channels. Who do you trust? What is it on YouTube? Is it on Twitter? Is it on Parler? Is it on Facebook? Is it on one of the other new platforms? Where is it? Is it on BitChute? Where is it? Find those people, subscribe to them, and then you can be the truth teller. Now, there's one more place that I suggest you go to. This is probably the most important site on the internet right now, I would argue. Like I said, you can't avoid the left. You don't have to go out of your way to research what the left think and what the narrative is that they're trying to sell you. It's everywhere. You do have to go out of your way to hear the other side of the equation. And just like, come November, when it's your time to decide and cast your vote, you're like a jury. Like you sit on the jury of who should lead the country. And if you can imagine a murder trial where the jury only hears the prosecution and never hears the defense, well, everyone would be convicted of murder, right? No matter how flimsy the evidence. I believe it's your duty, and also very, very important for the country, is for you to go and seek the other side's view before you cast judgment. And for me, there is really one place and one place only that is just a great spot to get all the news. Because I think this is a great YouTube channel. I highly encourage you to subscribe to it. I will tell you the alternative side, but I can't make a video about every single topic. There's a site called thedonald.win. The Donald is in Donald Trump. Thedonald.win. And it is an incredibly important resource. Not because you on every single topic, you get what is the other person's opinion? What is the other side's opinion? Can I at least hear it? And then you can decide which one you like better, which one's closer to the truth, or which one is actually true. You get to decide that, but you don't get to decide it if you don't hear the other side. You're just like a lamb to slaughter, being a victim of propaganda and narrative. So make sure you do yourself that favor of checking out thedonald.win. It used to be a subreddit on Reddit, but then it got canceled and they got pushed out. And so now it is one of the fastest growing sites in America. Everyone's going there to find out, well, what is the other side's opinion? And it's a really important resource for you to check out. So that's thedonald.win. So tell me, leave in your comment, have you noticed the media lie cycle? Do you think it's going to get shorter or longer? What do you think is going to happen? And when you understand this and the trajectory it's going to happen, there's going to be huge periods, just like in 2016, where it's, oh my God, like Biden's winning, this could be a disaster. And what you'll notice is, you can see, it doesn't matter, that the period of the lying working gets shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter, to where the lie will only work for a couple days. But we do have the headwinds, no social media and no Trump rallies, which means it's going to take longer for the truth to come out. But you can play your part and become an ambassador for truth by, at the very least, hearing the other side and then deciding which one is going to be a winner or not. So make sure you subscribe to channels or Facebook groups or Twitter accounts or whatever it is where you believe people are telling you the truth, and you can be that ambassador for truth. Guys, I hope this helps. Smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.